Good morning, everybody. Welcome to 21-6 The Net and Bridging Civil Tension. Bridging Civil Tension is a show that we put together. There's a lot of tension out there. Some of it's civil, some of it's not. But we here believe it's better to build a bridge than it is to burn one down. With that said, I'm Kent Jones, along with Phil Wallace. And Phil, of course, entrepreneur extraordinaire, author, and just all-around good guy. He will be joining us here shortly. He is out of town, so we are getting him all set up to join us. But here is where we tackle a lot of the issues that people are sometimes afraid to talk about. Just to say, we can have good conversations, disagree at points, but still love each other. And that's the whole thing. So if you're tuning in right now and all you got is me, hang in there. Phil will be here. Of course, Bridging Civil Tension brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at Natural Therapy Wellness Center. Check them out at www.mchenrymassage.com. They are absolutely brilliant at what they do, and some of the things that they do can really alleviate a lot of stress in your life. And once you have that stress relieved in your life, life is good. Man, we got him in the green room. We're going to bring him in right now. Our good friend, Mr. Phil Wallace. How are you, brother?
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm well. Thank you, sir. You look fantastic. Where are you at?
Dallas, man. My cousin's house. My older cousin just moved down here, and she's got her and her 4 kids. So we're just hanging out with family. And it's my dad's birthday is on Saturday. So
Nice.
Down here. And then see the kiddo,
Yeah.
Long haired assassin, just cute as he wants to be.
Kindergartner now, right?
First grade.
Dang.
First grade.
Yeah, that goes quick. I saw a good friend, not a good friend. I saw somebody I worked with, I guess.
He's all right. He's a decent person.
No, I can't say good friend because what happened was I saw her like on the first or second day of schools. I had to run something over to the high school for Alice, who works at the high school. And I saw her. I'm like, oh, Jen, holy cow. Your kids, was she a freshman? She sophomore? And she's like, she's a senior.
What?
And I'm like,
yeah.
What? So that's why I really can't say good friend, because I would have known her daughter is a senior. But time flies. It's amazing.
That makes sense. Yeah. Tarek, the kid, he was a 4th grader when I first moved back up here on the Magic squad. He just went to college. I was like, oh my God, where's time going?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Freshman, yeah.
So what we want to talk about today is, what are you mad at, right? And
okay,
out in the news today, what is creating some tension out there is, for those who don't know, over in Afghanistan, the United States Marines lost 13 Marines in battle. So it's pretty sad. Soldiers who gave everything they could to defend the rights of our country and to help defend the rights of other people that they didn't even know. And the Nancy Pelosi would not allow, I don't know, again, I'm not a big political guy. You might know this, Phil, but I think she's the head of, like, I don't know, the Senate or something like that, right?
Okay.
And, she blocked a moment of silence and would not allow them to read the names of the 13 fallen soldiers. However, last year, when there was a lot of division, she and a lot of her constituents, they wore Africa. I don't know what they were called. They were like stoles, what I would call and they knelt down and then they read the names of all of the fallen or murdered, individuals. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, so on, so on, so on, so on, so on, so on. So there's a big shakeup right now with, oh my God, what is going on? How can she do that and not this?
Right.
What's your take on it?
I'm trying to understand the thought process behind it. I don't understand why we would not show respect and take a moment of silence for the troops, if we are going to take a moment of silence for our fallen, no matter who they are. If we're going to show respect, we're going to take the time to do so. Let's be consistent about it. I think the one thing that me and you talked about earlier this morning, though, is what aspect are people the most mad at? Are they mad that the soldiers didn't get mentioned, or are they mad that the soldiers didn't get mentioned but blacks did?
Right.
And I think the intention there, or like the focal point there, kind of tells more about the person.
Right.
I don't understand her side. I'm just kind of curious on what people are the most upset about with that.
Well, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is crap. This is crap." Well, there's again, are we comparing apples to apples, or are we comparing apples to bananas? And
right.
And again, how is it portrayed? So as they did that show of solidarity last year,
right?
It was not during a session. This was outside of the chamber walls, or you know what I mean. So so she didn't take time from any type of session last year to do this. This was on their own. It was before one or something like that. But they didn't. Here she said, we're not going to take time to do it during a session. So
I don't understand the lack of consistency on that, though. Oh, I mean, like, I understand that you're saying that it wasn't during session, so you didn't have to take time away from a session to show your respects. At the same time, it is our troops, and if we are going to respect the troops in other aspects, let's be consistent there. And I don't think that a moment of silence would be taking too much time away from any type of session. I think it'd be necessary and be the right thing to do. Right. So my question. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead with your thoughts first.
Okay. So just to catch everybody up, here's what happened. They gavelled in. They had a prayer. That's how they start every session. Right. Said the Pledge of Allegiance. Took a moment of silence. Then asked, and then some veterans that are now elected officials then asked to be recognized to read names and bring up before they bring up the Afghanistan legislation.
Right.
And that's what Pelosi blocked. Right. It was like, no, we're not doing this. Right. So so now everybody is up in arms because why would you take time? Well, it was personal time, number one. But again, that's what I ask. It is. I mean, they gave everything for the nation. They gave everything for hundreds of thousands of people that they didn't even know, or were even non-Americans. And that's, unfortunately, that's their job, right? And I don't know. Again, I'm not a senator. I'm not an elected official. I don't know how it works. I don't know how much time you got. I don't know anything of that nature. This is where maybe because you're an R or a D, and maybe that brought it up. but again, we go back to what we talked about last year in what what who needs the attention now,
Yeah.
right? Do those 13 fallen soldiers need the attention, or does what they died for need the attention, right? And it last year that's what needed to be brought to the surface, I think, right? And
Right.
and I always just kind of roll back, Phil, and say, okay, well, what's the underlying motivation of it? Why did we do it? Why did we not do it? Um, and why is it a big deal? I mean,
Right.
it, is it a big deal for me that that they didn't read the 13? They took a moment of silence for them. Is it a big deal we didn't say their name? I've seen that out there on social media. Hashtag say their name, 13 fallen soldiers, right?
Right.
And
But
that's
then again, then we go back to where people are being more sarcastic about it than actually caring about the topic.
correct.
Right? Don't be passive aggressive about it. If you care, care. That's awesome.
That's it.
And as well, you should.
Yeah.
But don't try to be spiteful and sarcastic and passive aggressive, saying say their name like you do for the black people. Don't that doesn't cause unity. That causes division.
Right. Right. Again, if we're trying to build that bridge,
Right.
and you truly cared, you would just post the 13 names. You wouldn't hashtag say their name. You wouldn't.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's like that's a bully picking on you.
So did she feel like it wasn't the time and place for
I
the
don't.
moment of silence?
I don't think that. I don't think that. I don't think that she mentioned it.
Okay.
Why or why not? Um, you know, the one side is saying, "Oh, it's cover up for the tragedy," and others are like, "Listen, it is what it is, right?" But
Yeah.
nowhere in anything that I read did it say this is why she did that. Of course, she probably would, right?
Right.
So, Tim, good morning, Tim. Have there been other loss of military life over the past 20 years in Afghanistan? If so, was there a personal acknowledgement of them? Maybe they did so to not devalue the past fallen. Yeah, that's a good question, and I don't know. They did have a moment of silence for them,
Right.
and maybe that's protocol. I don't know, but yeah, if they were, we've lost several service men and women um, over the course of 20 years there.
Right.
You know, I don't know if every time one passed that they would read their names. That I don't know. And it,
Right.
so hey, they took a moment of silence. So, but again, you know, this continues to, like you say, drive that wedge between. Why even
Right.
bring it up? Why dig into the catacombs? Uh,
Right.
and go, hey, you did this because of a political stance, and now you make it a civil stance, and now it's tough. And to Tim's, what I might say is it may be customary to just you know open with prayer, say the Pledge of Allegiance, take it a
Right.
moment of silence for those who fell. Right. Now, here's what I'll say to you people out there. Well, maybe we did, if I remember. So, you go around the United States, and flags are at half mast for those 13 people. Did we do that for George Floyd? Did we do that for Breonna Taylor? Did we drop it to half mast for them? I don't.
No.
I can't
Well,
remember.
then your pushback is going to be that George Floyd is not a saint, right? Then they're going to say he doesn't need to be upheld at the same level as a soldier because he wasn't an outstanding citizen. That's the one that you're going to get there. As far as other people, I think you're going to get a similar pushback of people trying to find their imperfections. Uh, than just saying, but you're not going to get they should be upheld to the same standard as the military. You're not going to get that type of support
Yeah.
for blacks as you do for military.
Well, and that's what I'm looking right now is to see if they,
Not half mast. My question though, if she, so people are upset that military that was fallen was left out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember, was it Juneteenth when there was the military man and he was giving a shout out to civil rights soldiers and his microphone went out? You remember that?
Say that again.
It was, I think it was Juneteenth, and the guy was giving a shout out for the civil rights slaves and how they went back for the fallen soldiers, and he was giving credit for that's why we have and celebrate that Memorial Day.
Right.
And his microphone went out.
Correct.
And the uproar was it wasn't okay to leave out certain soldiers, and people's pushback was, well, it wasn't the time and place. Now we're upset that fallen soldiers are being left out.
Right.
And these soldiers need to be talked about, and these soldiers, which they do, but it was fine when we skipped over the civil rights soldiers that were African Americans.
Yeah. Yeah, and Tim, all right, so Tim says, hey, my question was about military loss of life, not everyday citizens. Yeah, and that's what I don't know about the fallen soldiers. I don't know what protocol is, in the Senate or House or whatever it's called, right? 52-year-old, you think I'd know how this government works. I don't. All right. But yeah, as I was just taking a quick look, many states did fly flags at half-mast as well for George Floyd.
Okay.
So many states did. So again, but again, it goes back to those names last year were not read. That was not done in session.
Right.
That was done outside of session. So those people got the same, when I say those people, that's pretty, right?
Wow, Kent. Now, this is when you do this? You really those people right now?
Right. So right. So George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, they also did not have their names read in a session. Right. And, so is it okay for public officials to do things publicly differently than they do in session? I don't know. Right. So again, it goes back to the tongue in cheek. It goes back to the sarcasticness of,
Well, I mean, it doesn't come across the right. It doesn't. I don't think it sends the right message as far as like, well, why would you do it for them but not us? Like the first them isn't good enough or is a lesser product.
Yeah.
Right. We can make time for Black people but not military. When you word it like that or it comes across like that, that's not received well.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know. I don't know the race of the 13. I don't know the sex. I don't know the race. I just know there were 13 soldiers.
Yeah.
So maybe all 13 were Asian. I don't know. Maybe all 13 were white. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's a question to ask too. So here we're treating the military as one, and and then last year we were not treating every race. So yeah.
Well, yeah. And I mean, for our country, on the totem pole, the military is going to be higher than African Americans.
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel like when you're wording it as far as like, well, why would we make time for them but not military?
Right.
We made time for the lesser product, but not the real heroes.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a unifying message to send. I think we should honor anyone who is slain unjustly.
Yep.
Or in the line of duty. My personal opinion.
So there were men, there were women, there were white, there were brown. So there was pretty diverse pretty diverse group in those 13 um, that
Yeah.
gave their life. So it's
I and we talked about this as well before. For the people who are upset, though, that what was mentioned last year versus what was not mentioned this year, we didn't not read the list. So don't take that as an opportunity to be more mad at black people or whatever, if that's where they're at over what someone else did. We have no control over what she reads,
right,
and people are getting stirred up about something that like we have no control over.
right. So I mean, Marine Corps Lance Corporal David L. Espinoza, 20 years old. He's one of the soldiers that gave his life.
Yeah.
Marine Corps Sergeant Nicole L.G., 23 years old, gave her life. Right. You take a look at Sergeant Darren T. Hoover, 31 years old, gave his life. Army Staff Sergeant Ryan C. Knaus, 23, gave his life. Look, these are just kids, right?
Right,
Marine
23.
Corps Corporal Hunter Lopez, 22. Marine Corps Lance Corporal Riley McCullum, 20 years old. You know, I just these are just kids. I mean, think about that. You train.
20.
You were just talking about an 18, 19, 20-year old.
Right,
You know, and the people who are upset are my age. The people who are upset are your age. These are kids over there who gave their life. Right. Dylan Marola, 20 years old. Kareem Nikui, I guess. I don't know, 20 years old. Johnny Johanny Rosario Pritchard's 25 years old. Umberto Sanchez, 22 years old. Jared Schmitz, 20 years old. I mean, Max Sobiak, 22. Deegan Page, 23. So, I mean, these are all kids, and you can see different nationalities, different,
right.
still from the same nation, but, their
Yeah,
backgrounds. And it's men, women, and there you go. So quit being mad because I just read the names.
right,
Right? But yeah, it is. Why am I getting mad about something so petty? And why am I trying to stir the pot rather than mend the fence or build that bridge? And that's what a lot of people are trying to do with some of these, social media posts and
right,
of that nature. And what we should all do instead of saying hashtag say their name too is, how do we make sure it doesn't happen again?
right,
And that's what we're talking about last year. How do we make sure it doesn't happen again? Well, it's not a fight. There's an injustice here. How do we make sure it doesn't happen again? Right? And instead of trying to fix and build a bridge, we want to continue to burn it. We want to continue to start fires. We want to
right.
lay little M80s everywhere to see if we can, blow some things up and see who responds. Well,
So, do you think the people who say their name too said the first set of names?
absolutely not. They were the back the blue hashtag,
And
right?
this is where we've had the conversation. It becomes frustrating to watch people say, "I'm not going to support you in your cause, or I'm not going to be there for you when you're upset or you're hurting,"
Yeah.
but I'm going to be condescending and I'm going to be passive aggressive that you should be up for my cause. You should sympathize and empathize for me, though. Can't do that. You
Well,
can't do that.
and that's the way we're raised, right? Here in America. So I mean, we're raised to the point where, oh, hey, he said, she said, and I'm not going to be your friend this week until I
Right.
find out the real truth, and then I go, oh man, I was wrong, right? My son Spencer just bought a home in the
Spence.
Norfolk, Virginia area, right?
Nice.
And so Alice flew out to be with him. Okay. help help him clean his new house, and be part of that fun. Do some painting, spend some time, with her son. It's my son too, people, but that's Mama's boy, right?
Right.
It's our only son, so that's why I say that's her son. Um, and I'm talking with her last night. Yesterday was their first day there, and she goes, I think they're the only white people in the neighborhood. And I go,
Yes.
and I go, okay. So growing up as we've talked about, growing up in suburbia out here, country. I'm in the country, folks. Right? Is that's a unique thing, right? Now, Spencer's part of the United States Navy, and he probably didn't even notice it. Right? He's probably like, "Hey, it is what it is. It's a beautiful house, nice yard, da 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 da."
Yeah.
Now his beautiful, young. When I say young, in their 20s, right? Beautiful young girlfriend from also suburbia might be going,
Why do we pick this house?
Right? Beautiful house, their first house, a lot of neat dreams there, and I reminded Alice, I go, really, I wouldn't even bring that up. I mean, why? What's that got to do with anything? And understand that we didn't know our neighbors when we first moved in 18 years ago either, and now we do. I said there'll be block parties. I said, they're going to get a good education. They're going to know what good Southern food is pretty soon.
Good Southern food,
right?
Yes.
So and she's like, oh, and I saw this bug and I saw that bug. I said, welcome to the South. That's what they got. They got bugs.
Massive bugs.
Squash them and move on. So, but again, we're at a point in our society, and I bring that up not to make fun of my wife, but it wasn't like, what a cute neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It was, oh boy,
But I think that, and this obviously, we love Alice, so it's not a knock at all, but minorities are asked to sit in that situation all the time, though.
All the time.
And you got to be normal. You got to be natural. You got to be normal. Why are you nervous? But what I find is when whites are in that situation and they're the only one in the neighborhood, it's noticed. All of a sudden, people do see color, and you're nervous on what's going to happen.
Well,
when you're outnumbered.
So Phil, what went through my head was, oh boy, does the neighborhood hate him now because they think it's being gentrified? Again, no, I don't know the neighbors. Right. I don't know the neighborhood. Right. I've never been there. That's what went through my mind. Why does that go through my mind to go, uh-oh, whites are coming in now? You know what
Right.
And I don't know why my mind went there. But these are the inner conversations that I have all the time, Phil, that I'm like, oh, I mean, especially since we started this show and everything back in 2020 is, now I'm going, well, why should
I think it's not necessarily a wrong way of thinking. I think that's just kind of what history has shown us, right? Like how do I say this? I'm just going to say it. No white person in their right mind moves to a black neighborhood. As far as generally speaking, as far as the country's standards, right? When minorities move into an area, that's when the property value goes down. So with that way of thinking, most people aren't going to be going from, Woodstock to the west side of Chicago willingly. Why would they do that?
Yeah.
And then the only time where we do see where large numbers of, suburbanites move to urban areas is to gentrify.
Yeah.
An area. So I think it's a normal way of thinking based off what we're trained in our society. But also, I can't say that you're wrong for thinking that.
Right.
That's what typically it looks like.
Right. So, Nate, thanks for tuning in. Nate says, I have no idea what color my neighbors are, but they need to cut them damn weeds. It's true. Nothing worse than having a nice yard and the guy next door has a crappy one.
Has Jumanji in their front yard.
Well,
Yeah.
and in today's world, and you're down in Texas now. Your business takes you to Florida. Your business takes you to Atlanta.
Right.
Is there still a community in the neighborhood, or is it now? Hey, man, we go to work, we come home, we go to work, we come home, and it doesn't really matter? Or is there still that sense of, hey, we're going to have a block party, and we're going to have.
Oh, there's definitely the sense of community. I know in Georgia, we see neighbors walking up and down the street all the time, but they'll stop and they'll talk to the neighbors from up the street, and a lot of them have lived on that street for 30 plus years, so they
Yeah,
know each other, right? So
yeah,
there's that sense of community. When you talked about High on the Hog, right? That lady was doing the cookout with the neighbors when
yeah,
they were moving the highway, and that was a gentrification topic, but there was that sense of community that people were going to get together with their neighbors and bring food and things like that. Um, I know there's lots of block parties and things like that in the Texas area, Florida. I mean, we do it in Crystal Lake all the time. Like, so I think that community aspect is there, especially for those who want to have it.
yeah.
There's that opportunity for those who choose to partake, and there's not for those who just want to be hermits, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that that's what we as a society. I think we as get over the sarcasm, get through it,
Right.
and let me meet you someplace, and let's break bread, let's barbecue, let's have a
Yeah.
beer, let's do whatever, and let's let me see that you're no different than me, but you are different than me, you know,
Right.
and away we go, right? And
I mean, where we live, there were so many things this past summer. I know school started, but there's so many things this past summer. Lake Fest, the different rib fests, different events with the
yeah,
chamber, and there were so many community type of events that took place, right? And everybody had a great time. I think that's why people love spring and summer so much, is because it's that time that we could actually be
all
out
the
and be
festival.
social.
Mhm.
I don't understand where the desire to be passive aggressive and divided comes from.
Right.
I feel like it's unnecessary. I'd much rather have, okay, well, Kent's going to teach me what summer shandies are. Awesome. And we're going to play bags. And I'm learning about this individual and their style. I don't
Yeah,
understand why there's the desire to be like, oh, well, his people are mentioned, but mine aren't.
yeah, because
Or
Iowa cornhole meant something different.
yeah, I thought, you want me to throw a bag where?
Yeah, what?
He wants me to toss my bag in this. Anyway, I'm out. These guys are Midwest are
Gotta go.
weird.
I gotta think. Be in Texas. Yeah. Um, so, so my frustration and my I, is we're not allowing ourselves to heal, move forward because of
No,
things like this. I never thought of, and for the most part, people have very, 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 very short memories. And if you don't like somebody or you don't like something that they do, why do you keep bringing it up? I I had forgotten about that display that Pelosi and her friends did, and I call it a display because I don't think it was with heartfelt, right?
right.
So until somebody brings it up, and then as I dig into it, I'm like, why are more and more people upset about it? Let it go. Let you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And yet, depending on where you stand with your pride in this nation, you could literally say that our government has mishandled this whole thing. At the same time, depending on where you stand, you could say they did the best they could. It is
Hmm.
right, and that's why we hire these people. That's why we elect them. Let them worry about it. I don't pretend to know how those things run. I don't have any desire to. That's why I've never run for public office. But why bring it back up? I mean, the guy with no left arm knows he has no left arm. You know, right? So why go? Hey, dude, what happened? Or you know,
Why are we surprised that our government did things the wrong way? I
y-
mean, so then my other question is why don't people understand that the government does things the wrong way, not only on things that you're passionate about,
correct.
right? I understand the government has not done things the right way when it comes to African American history. Cool, we get that. I can also say, yeah, they also didn't handle things the right way when it comes to not giving the moment of silence to the troops.
Absolutely.
But we have a body of people that seem to be very, very vocal only when they feel that their side has been wronged, and when it comes time to keep an open mind for the other side, when they feel wronged, they seem incapable.
Yeah.
And me and you were sitting there like, well, this is what they were just saying that they were upset about. You're having an identical situation of what they said. How is this woe is me and this is victim? Or
Yeah.
this wasn't a big deal and this is perfect. Like, I don't understand that.
So, somewhere along the way, we don't allow each other to walk a mile in each other's shoes, right? And let me see what your pain is. Let me feel what your pain is, and then let's talk about it. Or how do we get around it? And it's tough. It's infuriating that then, to me, why has this taken up so much time, energy, and effort in the media around the United States when there's so many other things we could be focusing on? Why is this?
Yeah.
Why is this a thing? Again, hey, I see that you have a gunshot wound there. Let me pour some salt in it and rub it in.
Yeah, it'll help. It'll help.
This should do you wonders.
But
That
it's what you say, the puppet master, right? He's
yeah,
pulling the strings. Let's pull more divided strings and see how it turns out for the country.
and
Let's pick more us for them versus them.
right, and
We're in motion.
at some point, the pendulum has to swing back the other way to go. Maybe it's not you, Phil. Maybe it's not me. Maybe
Right.
it's these people who have been in power for 40 plus years. People who are in their 80s trying to run a government that, listen, if I'm 80, I don't want to work.
I'd rather not.
I do a little travel, see the grandkids, do something.
Yeah.
At some point a light has to go on in our heads that go, huh, well, this system is weird, isn't it? Right? And now you go, well, maybe that's what's wrong. Maybe we're not wrong. Maybe how we look at things are wrong.
Right.
You know, and as long as there's people, we're always going to have differences of opinions, and that's okay. But seriously, what are you mad at? Literally, what are you mad at? I mean, what are you mad at, Phil?
I feel like this should be an easy fix, though. I feel like it's an easy fix as far as being able to say, okay, like, listen, this is how this group felt being left out. We understand that. We can, even though we may not have agreed at the time, I see it now. So moving forward, we'll keep this side respectful, and we'll be respectful on our side as well. Like, I don't think that has to be as big of a deal as it's being made to be. I
Right.
mean, and I really am not trying to say this sarcastically at all, but if we're not liking people being left out of history and getting the respect that they deserve, let's keep this in mind for all areas. Because as a country, we're really good at leaving people out of history and not giving people the credit that they deserve. And in some situations that's okay, and in other situations we're all up in arms about it.
Yeah. Well, and just because you say, I don't mean to say this sarcastically, it reminds me of Ricky Bobby, where it's like, and all due,
No, due respect.
no offense, no, that means something's coming. Nate says, I met a man that moved from Chicago. Yes, he was black, if that even matters. Must, because it's in the story. But he came to a party I was at and wouldn't stop saying, man, I'm so happy to be out of the city. Y'all white people throw the best parties. He seemed surprised. No one cared that he was black. Like it doesn't matter, but he expected it to matter. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, we have to go back to Chicago It depends what part of Chicago, where he's at.
Right.
Very different world
Yeah.
From out here in McHenry.
Right.
And we have to take a look at the man's road that he traveled. He may have been at some parties where he wasn't welcome.
Yeah.
And he's shocked, and he should be. They're like, dang, you're all just good down home people here.
Right.
So, and okay, is it okay for him to say y'all white people? Well, if y'all were white, no.
Right.
And I'll go back. Pete, the station owner, and I will go back and take a look at Don Rickles. We'll take a look at old comedians. Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor could not get on stage today. He would offend too many people, right?
He would have said everything. He would Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle is a genius because he has tact,
right?
And he's a well thought comedian, right? Richard Pryor was like that.
He just said it. He just said it. Yeah.
Right. And to us who grew up with that, very, very funny, and we knew it was comedy. No one, you know what I'm saying? Nobody was like, "Oh, I'm offended." No, he's being funny, and we laughed at it. Somewhere along the way, but we always talk about what was once accepted is not accepted, and what it's an interesting.
I mean, like you said, depending on what part of Chicago, white people mean police in certain areas of Chicago to those people, right? Because it's not really frequented as much. Hold on, with all due respect. Go ahead, read it off.
Tim Santos. With all due respect, and remember, I'm saying with all due respect, it ain't worth a velvet painting of a whale and a dolphin getting it on. Ricky Bobby.
Wow, Ricky Bobby.
I don't mean to say this sarcastically,
but I'm going to say this.
Yeah. Right now, you were saying, Phil. Good luck with that. Follow that.
Good luck with that. Right? No. And I remember when I worked for a repo company, and when me and my partners drove into the area, they were like police because they were white.
Yeah.
As soon as you see white people, that just means police. So for certain people, their experience isn't pleasant, warm from a different race. It's you're here as a police officer, and they may not have the best experience. He sounds like me in the 7th grade, right? When I moved from Florida, and Pensacola was pretty much segregated, and so you go to Lundall, and white people are being nice to you, where at certain times at school, white people didn't talk to you.
Right.
So I'm like, man, white people throw their awesome block parties. What is this, a potluck? What is this, buffalo dip? I was learning these things. I was like, man, I had that conversation with my mom. My white friends are cool. Because I wasn't used to that, because coming from Pensacola is a little different.
And now remember, if you grew up in the South too, you have to understand, if you were the person they asked to bring plates and cups, that means you didn't know how to cook.
Yeah, that means you cannot cook, and they don't want raisins in their potato salad.
Pete, dry turkey. Go ahead and bring the plates and the cup and the plasticware.
Can you get ice? Get ice. Your assignment is ice. Do that. Big bag. Don't come in with a little bag.
I do ice fishing, actually. I fish for it.
What?
Nah. He asked if we had the recipe for ice. I said I fish for it. I do some ice fishing. Hey.
But
thank you very much. So the idea is, instead of responding to a tongue-in-cheek or that sarcastic, just say, what are you mad at? I mean, literally, what are you mad at? So last night, Lucy had a volleyball game, and she played well. I thought, I don't know much about volleyball, but she did well. She dove on the floor. She did things that, 7th grade girls don't normally do. And I'm like, man, she's mad. She's such a competitor. She's mad. And I just asked her, I'm like, what are you mad at? She goes, I don't know. I go, quit being mad.
Just for no reason. Just, yeah.
I go, you played great. You did, and I loved how you did this, and I loved how you did that, and you had a smile on your face, and you were having fun. Why are you mad now? You know,
Right.
and she couldn't she couldn't really understand why she was mad. So I'm like, then put a smile on your face and quit. All right. And you'll see that with those sarcastic people or people who are, just go on them and put a question. Hey, what are you mad at? And see what 9 times out of 10 they'll probably be like, "Oh, you don't know? Read the post." Okay, I did.
I read it.
So what are you mad at? And you'll understand when you ask questions like that, people have to stop and think for a minute. Like, well, here's what I'm mad at. Well, why are you mad at that?
And then they got to be honest. And they got to be honest. Well, if they choose to be. Good luck with that.
Were you mad at those? Were you mad then too?
That's a great follow-up question though.
Yeah.
What are you mad at, and were you mad then?
Yeah.
Because if you weren't mad in an identical situation with people who didn't have the same letter as you or be the same color as you, if you weren't mad then, why are you mad now?
Why are you mad now? Why is it so personal now?
If it's different, or if all of a sudden all these justifications pop up that weren't available when it was someone else, might want to look into that. You have symptoms of a racist.
I mean, here's the other thing. Let's say you're at a bar, and a few seats over, there's somebody just going on and on and on and on and on and on. Seems very mad about this situation, the one that we're talking about. Do you partake, or do you go, let's go to a different bar? This guy is crazy, or this gal is crazy. Or do you sit there and try to negotiate with that person and tell them that they're wrong for feeling that way?
Do I know this person? Or is this...
No, you just rolled into a bar and there they are.
It depends if it's worth the energy. Or if they're looking for dialogue, I'll engage because I had the opportunity to do so. But if they're not, I'm good. I'm not trying to change someone else's mind. I'm trying to like me, our sit down, right? If you have questions, if you want to ask, go for it. Yeah. If you're saying, hey, listen, I'm not understanding this. Me and Hogle had the conversation with the Neelings. Listen, my family's military, but I also, love you. So what's up? Like, okay, I would have that conversation. But if a person's just irate and just going to keep throwing stats up,
yeah,
I'd rather just focus on my group and who I'm there with than waste my time on someone who's not trying to hear it out the other side.
Right. And, and I want to give a shout out to all the people down in New Orleans. I want to give a shout out to the people up in New Jersey and the West Coast where things are terrible because of the weather. Thanks for tuning in. We absolutely love you. We hope that you're all safe, and it's crazy. So just hang in there; it'll get better. But to that point, there's a lot of other things to be more concerned about in this country with people who now are homeless or can't live in their house because it's underwater. That than worrying about some old crotchety lady reading 13 names.
Right. People are getting flooded out in the Northeast.
Right.
And without a home.
And here's the deal. Listen, if I'm in a bar and a guy across the bar is jibber jabbering about this.
Not the jibber jabber.
And literally, I like poking the bear, but I would sit there for a second and go, is this worth my time and energy?
You have to.
Okay. And if I decide it's not, I don't go over and ask the man, hey, what's your name? I want to look you up on Facebook so that I can argue with you on Facebook. You walk out of there and you're like, that guy was nuts. And you go on with the rest of your life. Right. You don't think about that guy or that gal, right? Or that them, whatever they're going by, and say, hey, let me see if I can get your number here real quick, and I'll text you my thoughts later because I want to continue to be miserable, and I want you to continue to be miserable. Right? That's what social media is. That's what we do. By the way, don't. If you're looking and you can't see it here, let me switch cameras. We just want to make sure that for those of you, if you can read the mustache, it just says invest in moose coin.
And moose coin?
Yep, never mind. Don't bring it up too many times because the bots will shove us off of YouTube. Right. But it's kind of a running joke this week here at 21.6 and that moose coin. Don't invest in moose coin. Or you can. We're not. It's just.
This is not financial advice.
Not financial advice, right? In our opinion. In our opinion. So the most interesting thing I think with what's going on is, what are you mad at? I mean, what are you truly mad at? I mean, there. And think about it in any relationship with your spouse, with your girlfriend, with your boyfriend, with whatever. When you're in a fight or when you're enraged, and if somebody were to say, "What are you mad at?" and you can't come up with a good explanation of why you're mad, other than where have you just listened to your? No, why does that make why does that make you mad? You know, were you mad a year ago? Were you mad back in the 70s? Were you mad back in the 60s? Depending on their age, right? Were you mad back in the 90s? Why is this so infuriating to you, Pete?
Which topics continue to upset you?
Right. And why?
And why?
You allow that to happen, right? What makes America great is our ability to think, our ability to be ingenuitive. Is that a word?
It is now. They like me because I was ingenuitive with my strategic analysis.
Strategery.
My strategery.
Right. So that's what makes us great, is the ability to figure out problems, not to continue to create them. Right. Yeah. And again, I still think we're in the best, in the best country in the world. And for those of you who might think differently, I want you to know there's no such thing as a civil war. It's kind of an oxymoron, isn't it?
Right.
I don't
I was still going on these funny words, and I was like being able to analyze things.
Yeah.
And being but then it was like analyst, and I was like, nah, that's not that.
That's my proctology.
That's proctology.
I'm an analyst.
What are you trying to say that I analyze things? Yeah. Oh, okay.
However, growing up on the farm to inseminate a cow, you get armpit deep. I mean,
that's a bull.
Anyway,
that's a bull.
Anyway, that's crazy.
It's not milk; it's a bull.
Yeah, that's right. Is that a milk mustache? You were out with the bull. Never mind.
Hey, folks.
Stick around. So our, as we bridge civil tension, as we bring up things that are irritating people, our hope is that you start thinking about it a little bit and go, so what are you mad at? Let us know what you're mad at. Send us an email at 216thenet@gmail.com. What are you mad at? Sure. Just in the subject line, put bridging civil tension. We'll get it, and we'll bring it up. Would love to.
Would love to have these conversations with you guys. Post in the comment section. Tag us all the time.
Yeah.
At Bridging Civil Tension.
At Bridging Civil Tension. Go out on Facebook. If you love social media, go out and become a member of the Bridge community.
Do it.
Right? And that's a good place to have conversations. It's a good place to get to know people. It's a good place to go, I never looked at it that way. And that happens from both sides of the coin. I never looked at it that way. Well, what are you mad at? That'd be a good thing to post out there on the Bridge community.
I will post that too. I'll post that. Question. Yeah. As we finish, what are you mad at? What upsets you?
What upsets you? Why?
Why?
And until you can figure that out, is it worth being mad? Is it worth spending all that energy on? Is it worth being so irritated with life and people? I don't think it's worth it. That's how you get ulcers.
Have it irritate you enough to start dialogue. I think that's the most constructive use of your time. If you're going to just be mad about something, be mad enough to research things for the other side and then ask questions with an open mind. Don't just dictate what you're going to tell the other side. Hey, listen, I'm trying to understand this. This is where I'm at with it. I don't understand why them not saying the military was such a big deal. What's up? Why are you irate? Can you see why when it was, Memorial Day, This is why other people are upset. Have those conversations. But
That's
if you're just going to be upset and be unproductive about it, that's stupid. Or that's mentally conservative. I'll say it that way.
Well, the other is in a conversation, it's not a debate. A conversation is not a debate. I want to hear your side. If you'll hear my side, doesn't mean I have to change my thought,
Right.
my point of view, but it does mean that I have to go, huh, that's interesting that you think of it that way,
Mm-hmm.
or that you would say that. You're not trying to be a psychotherapist or anything like that, but the idea is a conversation is never a debate. A debate is a debate. I'm not,
Right.
not here to debate. I'm not here to try to change your opinion. I'm here to try to understand so that we can continue forward.
Right.
I don't know.
But how many people are mature enough to listen to a conversation or listen to someone's perspective on a topic and genuinely look to listen and understand versus just, I'm going to educate you on my side and why you should think like I do.
Right. And if that sways your mind or the way that you think of things, maybe that's a good thing. That's the bridge that we're building.
Right.
And if it's not, and I say this because of this, and it makes you think differently, then that's the bridge that we're building. That's the bottom line. That's how we get better. That's how we move forward.
Right.
Because united we stand, divided we fall. We said that on the grounds. And what wedge are you trying to hit? I mean, you ever split wood? I mean, if you've ever split wood with a wedge in a maul, why? What wedge are you trying to hit? Why are you trying to sink that in and create a bigger divide? It's hard work. It's not easy, right? And that you get more upset trying to do that rather than just throw a log on the fire.
I learned a new word today, a maul. Okay.
That's it. Yeah. Big old sledgehammer, a maul. I don't know. Isn't that a Southern word? I don't know.
I've never heard of it.
All right. So we've got about 4 minutes. We're running into the back of things. Next week, I'm going to be out in the woods on my man camp. So unless you have a guest, we'll do a best of next week.
We'll do a best of next week.
Because I'm going to be out in the woods enjoying, unplugging, enjoying being in nature with some good friends of mine. I come back refreshed, which is great. You're welcome to join us. Just reach out to me at 216thenet@gmail.com.
Where are you headed?
Headed up to Tomahawk, Wisconsin, just south of Tomahawk, Wisconsin. Got 3.5 acres up on the Wisconsin River. We got no running water. It's just a river out there. We do have a little bit of electricity, which is good, but it's just a great place to go and unplug. You're in the woods, not real good cell phone reception up there, so don't think you're sitting on your phone. I mean, you're unplugged. You're way unplugged.
So essential to disconnect, though.
Yep.
Disconnecting helps you feel connected.
That's it, and I know you're down there. Anything you want to throw out there? You got some good things going with your businesses. You started helping out Bloomble.
Bloomble, yeah, helping out with that on the affiliate side. Zevin Clark, amazing person and entrepreneur. If you guys are not following Zevin Clark, what are you doing with your life? Helping him out on the affiliate side with the Bloomble company, and just amazing people. Just what he's doing and how he's helping people on the personal development side, and just being innovative with the company and their CBD products. Just excited to see what he's doing with that and how he is helping. They give back to make sure that the people who are doing well are tithing to different events and different ministries and things like that. So great company, Bloomble, to work with, and just down here making connections for that as well.
Yep. I mean, real good company, great people, great product, done all for the right reasons.
Yes, sir. Hopefully they'll be found in McHenry soon.
Yep.
So in the process of making that happen. Appreciate Scott for his time and what he's doing. So
absolutely. So folks, come back. You've been caught right here on the bridge, Bridging Civil Tension with Phil Wallace. Phil, people want to get in touch with you. How do they find you?
Phil Wallace on Facebook, the Bridge community on Facebook, as well as Learn to Sew and Lay Los on Facebook.
There you go. And of course, following us right here, right now, the Success Journey podcast. Stay tuned, and travelers, because it is good stuff. They will take care of you. And of course, the quote of the day: take this with you until we meet again. With all due respect, and remember, I'm saying with all due respect, that ain't worth a velvet painting of a whale and a dolphin getting it on. Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby.
216 The Net. Following us, stay tuned. Right now is Success Journey podcast. Noon is the Dream Home Experts. 1 o'clock, the Neighborhood Pulse. 3:30 is In the Know with Steph and Joe. So big day today.
If you're not first, you're last.
That's it.
Love y'all.